Okay, y'all, so for Mother's Day I am making lasagna bolognese. Let's see if y'all can see this. Looks like that's the best I can angle that. So this doesn't look super fabulous right now, but basically what is in this pot is home butchered hamburger meat and the same amount of sausage. So there's 4 pounds of meat in here, and I'm letting that cook down with some olive oil, and I added in the last of my Italian seasoning and a little bit of salt, and that's all that I have in here right now. I'm letting this break down, and then we're going to add in carrots and onions. Normally Bolognese sauce is with celery. I do not have celery, but I had several bags of frozen zucchini from the garden, and since it's garden season again, I need to start cleaning out my freezer. So I'm going to add that in here. This is all going to slow cook for the day. I'll put together the lasagnas and some for the freezer, and then the one for tomorrow, and then I'll just refrigerate it and bake it tomorrow, so I can enjoy Mother's Day and not have to cook, because I'm doing all the prep work ahead of time. Okay, so I'll bring y'all back when this cooks down some more and I add other things. I'm going to go ahead and add in my 4 bay leaves. Put the lid on this, and I'll be back for the next step. Okay, y'all, so I'm going to add in my pureed carrots. This is about 8 whole carrots because I'm making a very large batch, and don't worry, this will all cook down. It's just making the sauce have that sweet, natural sweet flavor. So just getting this all put in here. It doesn't all have to be out perfect because I'm going to drop my onions in here next. I need to get my onions pureed up, and I'm going to do 2 whole yellow onions, just because that's what I have. You can use white onions, you can use red onions if you want. Traditionally I save my red onion more for fajitas or for fresh, like on burgers or in pasta salads or just all kinds of things. Okay, so we're going to let that cook down. Okay, so I got my 2 yellow onions pureed up. They're just orange because of the carrot that was left in my food processor. I'm gently getting all this out, trying not to drop my blade. Just adding this in, because all of this is going to cook down to a satiny, luxurious bolognese sauce. And this is great because it's one of those things you can do when you have time. You're going to be at home doing other things, so on the weekend, or you know, however you fit it into your schedule, and it can just kind of slow cook on the stove. You could do this in a slow cooker. I personally don't think it comes out as amazing. There's just something about a Dutch oven slow cooking, but it would work. And when you do a big batch of this, then you can put them in quart size containers and freeze it. And I love to do that, especially before the summer gets here, because when you're working in the garden or you're working, you know, full-time job and you got kids and all the things, you don't have to worry about making those amazing home-cooked meals But if you just want to use this for spaghetti or a baked ziti or lasagna or whatever, then you already have your sauce. You just have to defrost it and put it in a saucepan and heat it up. Okay, so we added that in, and again, this is going to cook for a while. Now, traditional bolognese just has tomato paste in it, so it's not a jar of marinara from the grocery store, but you can do it that way. I'm just going to use a couple of cans of the small cans of tomato paste. I may only use one, we'll see when I get there, because this is a lot of meat. Ooh, them onions are strong. I am also going to use red wine, because traditionally red wine, and this is just one I've tried before, it's a red blend. Red wine and either milk or cream is what gives this sauce its luxurious silkiness. Okay, so for garlic, I am going to use my homemade garlic cubes. I buy the already peeled garlic from a box store, Sam's, Costco, whatever, and I roast them in olive oil and then puree them down. So I'm going to do 4 cubes of that. So after I puree them down, I put them in like silicone ice molds and then pop them out once they're fully frozen and put them into this bag and keep them in the freezer for use. I'm also going to use my herb and onion cubes from my garden. I took the onion tops and a bunch of herbs and did the same thing. So I'm going to add 2 of those, and that's just going to give this a whole bunch more flavor. I like to do the basil cubes the same way, so you can make homemade basil pesto, all kinds of goodies. Alright, I'm going to put the lid on this and let this slow cook for a little while and break up my zucchini and add some of that in there too. Alright guys, I'm going to take some of this frozen zucchini and pop it in there. And I know that seems weird, but I promise you that will cook down and let all the liquid cook off of it, because it's going to cook for a long time. It's just going to add in nutrients. Not really a ton of flavor, just a bunch of nutrients. You can do this with fresh zucchini. Just grate it. So I'm just going to get some of this hot herb on top of it and let this cook down. Like I said, as that cooks down, the liquid will just cook off. And after that cooks down really well, then we will add the tomato paste and then some wine. All right, y'all. So the zucchini has defrosted and it is cooking down. And it's only been like 20 minutes. So this is going to continue to cook and break down, breaking up some of those bigger chunks of meat over a couple of hours before I add in the rest of the ingredients. So we'll see in an hour about what this looks like. I'll see you then. All right, y'all, so this is what it looks like right now. And this is still going to cook down even further, but I'm going to add, I got it upside down, so 1 can of Shinto tomato paste. And we'll see where we're at. With this amount of meat, I may need to add 2, but let's see. And again, this is going to cook for a couple more hours just on low. Okay, so I got that can of tomato paste in here. We're gonna mix this in and see where we're at. Most of the time, they call it rusting. So when you don't have this large amount, you would just kind of move your meat and vegetable mixture to the side and kind of brown it and toast it on the bottom, and then deglaze with your red wine. Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna need that second can. Okay, so I'm gonna get this second can in here, and we're gonna let this cook for a little while. I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so we're getting that second can of tomato paste in here. And you didn't necessarily have to, I just like the flavor. Again, traditional Bolognese is, from my understanding, with tomato paste. And my opinion, if you're going through all the trouble to make Bolognese, you might as well make a big pot. If you have the means to be able to freeze it, because that'll make you several meals. So we're just getting this all stirred in together. And then I'm gonna let this cook for about 20 more minutes, and then I'm going to add probably a couple of cups of red wine. I'll see y'all in a few. All right, y'all, I just came in and stirred this really well. I'm gonna give this a taste before we put this wine in to see where the seasonings and everything are. Now remember, we're still gonna put some heavy cream in this at the last 20 minutes. Yeah, the seasonings are good. Perfect salt, garlic. I did not add pepper, so I think I'm going to add some pepper. So let's do that. And that's just to taste, your preference, whatever you like. Now that we added that, I'm gonna add the equivalent, get this to stay in there, Hopefully that don't spill everywhere. A couple of cups of wine. I think traditional Bolognese, they usually just use a full bottle. It's only a quarter. So if you can see. So we're going to get this stirred in and let that cook down, and this is going to be an amazing flavor. If you don't like using red wine, you can use white wine. If you don't want to use white wine, you can use beef broth or chicken broth. My recommendation would be the beef broth because it'll have more flavor. So we stirred that in, and we're just going to let this simmer probably 30 minutes to an hour. I just kind of, I'm not in a hurry, so it's on the very lowest setting. And I'll come back and show you what it looks like here in about half an hour. All right, guys, let's take a look. It's been like 25 minutes. So we're gonna stir this all together. By now that wine has cooked down. I'm gonna let it cook about another 25 to 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna add, you can either put milk, half and half, or heavy cream. I have heavy cream to use, so I'm going to add just a little bit of that. All right, guys, so this is what it's looking like right now. Oh, that's hot. I don't know if y'all can see. So what we're going to do is take this heavy cream. I always give milk and cream a sniff before I add it to food. That's about half a cup. We'll start there and see. So the milk, cream, heavy cream, whatever you decide to use, half and half. It just gives it this luxurious, silky, soft consistency. So I'm gonna let this cook. I still got a few bigger chunks of meat in here. I'll kind of break up. But I'm gonna let this cook on low for another half hour. And then this is done. It is ready to be used for either spaghetti, baked pasta of any kind, lasagna, which is what I'm going to use most of it for, is making up lasagnas for my freezer and for my daughter. So that's it, guys. You'll want to taste it. I'm going to get y'all in here a little closer so you can see. I'll probably add just a little bit more. Let's add just a little bit more. So probably about a cup for this whole pot, which is a lot. Like I said, there was 4 pounds of meat, 2 pounds of pork, and 2 pounds of ground beef. That was homegrown and raised and butchered from where we get our beef and pork. So let that cook for another half hour. right, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Again, get in the kitchen and make you some bolognese sauce. Make a big old pot and separate it out and put it into your freezer, and that way you'll have it ready for you whenever you're ready to have an amazing slow cooked sauce. We'll see you next time. Bye.